Hi all, welcome back to IGNOU MBA. Today, let's discuss the paper term and examination of June 2022 for MMPC-012, that is for strategic management. Okay, so let's see one by one all the questions. The first one is define strategy, differentiate between different levels of strategy. This topic we can find it in our text Unit 1, Concept of Strategy. In this unit we can see what is strategy, its meanings, features, and then the different levels of strategy. Okay, so we all know what is a strategy, right? We can relate that to in our life too, right? In like what you're preparing now for your term and examination, you're seeing this video right now, all these are part of your strategy, right? Same way companies do, they also have strategies. Why? For attaining their company's objectives and goals, they plan certain things. They plan and design the activities, what they have to do in the present and in the future for attaining the company's objectives. Okay, so that is what strategy is. Okay, so strategies, they are adopted in accordance with the strengths and the weaknesses of the organization. Okay, so the main aim of framing strategy, it is to seek out the opportunities favored by the external environment and mitigate the threats. With the help of effective strategic management, we can reduce the impact of risk in the future that may come, that the organization may face in the future. Okay, so the organization can adopt strategies to achieve the desired position in the industry. Okay, so there are a lot number of definitions in our text. One of that definition is strategy is organization's pattern of response to its environment over a period of time to achieve its goals and mission. Okay, so let's discuss or let's differentiate the different levels of strategy. The three main levels of strategy are corporate level strategy, business level strategy, and functional level strategy. Okay, so what do you mean by corporate level strategy? What is its main focus? Yes, it focuses on the organization as a whole. The entire organization is considered here in this level of strategy. Okay, and when talking about business level strategy, it focuses specific business units or product lines. And then comes a functional level strategy. It focuses on the specific operational areas like marketing, sales, production, all those kinds of functional departments. Okay, and the scope of the first one, it's a broader concept, broader scope. So the strategies related to the corporate level strategies are, it will be broader, and when we talk about business level strategy, it will be medium range, and then the functional level will be very narrow as compared to the other ones. Okay, so the objective of a corporate level strategy is, it is to maximize the overall organizational performance. Okay, and when we're talking about the business level strategy, its main objective, it is to achieve a competitive advantage in a specific market or industry. And when we talk about the functional level strategies, its main objective is to support the achievement of the businesses and the operational functions. Okay, when we talk about the decision making in a corporate level strategy, it involves the top management. They makes the decision for the strategies. Okay, and talking about business level strategy, the middle level management, they takes the decisions. Okay, and in functional level strategy making, the decisions are being made, they are involved by the lower level management and the operational team. Okay, so the time horizon for the corporate level, it will be long term perspective, because they focuses on the organization as a whole. So the time horizon will be a long term perspective. When we come in a business level strategy, the time horizon will be a medium term perspective, and in functional, it will be short term perspective. For examples of corporate level strategies are diversification, mergers, acquisitions. And when we talk about the business level, we can say, for example, cost leadership, differentiation, all this comes under business level strategies. And the functional level strategies are marketing strategy, human resource management. It relates to various functions of an organization. Okay, then when we talk about the coordination, it requires coordination across various business units or divisions. And in business level, it requires the coordination within a specific business unit. Okay, and what about the functional level strategies? The coordination is required within a functional area. Okay, so understanding these levels of strategy, it helps the organizations to align their efforts at different organizations level and to cooperate and bring an efficiency in achieving overall objectives. Okay, the next question is, how are mission statements converted into objectives and goals? Discuss briefly with the help of a diagram. In Unit 2, Strategic Framework, in this unit we can see the topic for mission statement and how a mission statement can be converted into objectives and goals. Okay, so they have told us to explain with the help of a diagram. Okay, so this diagram, this figure, you can draw it in your exam also. Okay, so the mission statement, what are the elements of a mission statement? So target market, product or services, the process, distribution network, core competencies, competitive strength and core values. All these are elements of a mission statement. Okay, and how a mission statement can be converted into an objective or goals, they are shown in this unit. Okay, so let's see the notes. Okay, so mission statement, what it is, it puts forward the nature of the business, what kind of a business or what product or services an organization provides, and what kind of business is happening in an organization. All these kinds of things are included in a mission statement. Okay, so mission statement, it is a starting point for the formulation of strategies. To form a strategy, the first and foremost thing what is needed is a mission statement. Okay, so mission statements serve as the guiding principle for an organization. It outlines the organization's purposes and values. Okay, so organizations use objectives and goals to translate this qualitative statement into practical terms. So objectives and goals, they can be measured. Okay, they can be measured, and they forms a quantitative framework for achieving the mission of an organization. Okay, so goals are broader long-term outcomes, and when we talk about objectives, they are very specific and short-term actions are necessary. Okay, very short-term actions are necessary to fulfill those goals. Okay, so the process involves is breaking down the mission statement into achievable outcomes that can be measured and assessed. So in that way we can convert the mission statement into an objective and goals. Okay, so objectives, they align with the mission, expressing it in more tangible forms. Okay, so it's like the acceptance level of risk or providing a roadmap for accomplishing an organization's mission and vision. All these things are objectives of an organization. Okay, so they offer precision and clarity. Okay, so it helps the workforce to understand what is expected from them. Okay, so a set of objectives like various aspects, it includes performance, profitability, environmental impact, and organization strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so by aligning these objectives and goals with the mission statement, organization they can bring about a coordination in the strategy for achieving the success and fulfills their purpose of an organization. Okay, the next question, explain the relationship between general environment and strategy. Also briefly discuss the process for analyzing external environment. So in Unit 4, External Environment, we can find the topic, the relationship between general environment and strategy. Also the process for analyzing the external environment. Okay, so we can say that strategy is an essential component in any business organization. Okay, so strategy, it has a relationship between the general environment also. Okay, so we have seen the social processes right in our MMPC-11, that business organization have some relationship between the environment, society and all those things. The same thing is written over here, like understanding the connection between the general environment and strategy. It is really very vital for any managers. Okay, markets or the world, it keeps there are many changes happening in technological development or other kind of things. Okay, so it is very important an organization, when they are making or forming a strategy, it should have some kind of relationship between the general environment. Okay, so for example, a growing young population in India might be good for industries like entertainment, correct? But it will be very challenging for healthcare. Okay, so managers, they need to look at how this changes in an environment can impact their industry, and then they should make smart decisions. Okay, so they should think about the rules for companies in we can say the examples are in India. Over the years we have seen the companies in telecom or banking. The recent pandemic like COVID, it had made changes in things like pushing companies to use more of the digital tools, right? Yeah, so managers, they must pay attention to such changes, and they should adjust their strategies accordingly. Okay, so to do this, they use tools like pestle analysis to understand factors like politics, economics, technology that can affect their industry. Okay, so when these managers, they identify the key forces that helps them to work together. Okay, so for example, if the world is becoming more connected globally, it can impact a lot of industries. Okay, so the managers, they need to be really smart and ready to adapt to the changes that they may face in the future. Okay, so only by adapting the changes in a general environment, a company can be successful in future. Okay, so they must form strategies according to the changing business environment or the general environment. Okay, the process for analyzing the external environment, how can the companies can analyze an external environment? This process, they consist of 3 steps, that is environmental scanning, then assimilation, and then evaluation. Okay, so the process of analyzing the external environment, it requires 3 steps. Okay, in the first step, the organization, it should gather all the information related to the political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, legal, and environmental trends. Okay, so this can be done. How can we collect the data regarding all these things? It can be done using internet, magazines, newspapers, and all. Okay, so periodic scanning report of these factors, it can be submitted for performing the external audit. The second step, what it is? It's the assimilation step, right? So it involves the assimilation of all the information that was gathered in the first step, and this involves assessing the opportunities and the threats that are available with the organization. And the last and the final step in this process is evaluating. Okay, so evaluating what they have found is the last step. In this, the key external factors, they need to be identified and a list of the same is to be made. Okay, so these key factors should be important in helping long-term objectives of the organization and should be measurable in nature. So using these sources and these steps, environmental analysis can be done for external environment, right? The next question. The fourth question, what are the types of resources? Discuss how they differentiate themselves as competencies or core competencies. Okay, so this question has come from the Unit 6, Internal Analysis. Here we can see the different types of resources and how competencies are, differentiate between the competencies and the core competencies. Okay, so let's see what are the types of resources. So resources, mainly they are of 3 types, that is assets, capabilities, and competencies. Okay, so these resources are being identified under resource-based view of the organization. Okay, so what do you mean by assets? It includes tangible and intangible things that a company owns and that can use to achieve its goals. So the tangible assets, they are the physical assets like machinery, buildings, and all those kind of things which are physical or which can be seen. Okay, and the intangible assets, it refers to the patents, brand reputation, intellectual property, all those kind of things. Okay, then comes the capabilities. It refers to the company's ability to perform specific activities or tasks. So capabilities, it involves the skills, knowledge, and expertise of the employees. If the employees are capable of doing the daily activities or the functioning of an organization, these things comes under capabilities. Okay, and when we talk about the competency, they are a step beyond capabilities. Okay, so they represent a combination of assets and capabilities, and when they are integrated and utilized effectively. Okay, so competencies are what a company does exceptionally well, giving it a competitive advantage in the market. Okay, so when we differentiate between competencies and core competencies, we can say competencies are specific areas where a company excels. Okay, and its scope is narrowly focused. It only highlights the excellence in a particular function or an activity. Okay, so the impact of competencies in a business organization is it is not necessarily define the company's overall strategic decision or long-term success. Okay, and when we talk about the core competencies, they are unique capabilities that serve as a source of competitive advantages for the entire organization. And the scope for core competencies, they are broader in scope when comparing it with the competencies. Okay, so its impact is that core competencies, they play a central role in shaping the company's strategic direction, guiding its decision, and then serving it as a foundation for sustainable competitive advantage. So in essence, we can say competencies may represent the excellence in specific areas. Okay, and the core competencies, they are those distinctive capabilities that set a company fundamentally to its success. Okay, So the next fifth question is explain the role of cost in business growth and how overall cost leadership is determined. Okay, so let's see in unit 7 business level strategies. In this unit we can find the topic for the role of cost in business growth and the overall cost leadership. Okay, so we can say that to start up any business organization and for the growth of that organization, it incurs certain cost, right? So cost are the integral part of any business organization when it comes to the survival and the growth. Okay, so it plays a crucial role in the overall functioning of a business organization. Okay, so let's see how cost contribute to business success. The first and the foremost thing is profit generation for sustainability. To sustain operations and to meet the obligations, a business must generate profit. Okay, so the organization, they have to invest in certain machineries or buildings and all those things to start up a business organization, right? So when they want to acquire the assets, okay, there is some initial cost or investment which they have to put in the business organization for installing the equipment, for purchasing raw materials and all those kind of things. And after in taking initiative in adding the initial cost, what they generate profit out of the finished goods. Okay, when they sell those in the market. Okay, so they generate revenue for the organization. So part of the revenue which they get from selling finished product, they use this revenue for repaying the loans that they might have taken earlier for running of the business organization, and also for fulfilling the financial obligations. And this portion of revenue, it is to be given to shareholders in forms of dividend, because they have put in some kind of investment in the company, right? So a portion of revenue is dedicated to meeting the shareholders' expectations. Okay, then comes the continued operation. So revenue is used to buy the raw materials. So every time for the running of and the functioning of a business organization, you need raw materials for production of finished goods, right? So revenue is used to buy these raw materials. Okay, so the organization's survival and growth, they depend on efficiently managing the cost and generating positive contribution. Okay, so cost management, it is really an important strategic tool for gaining a competitive edge. Okay, so the example, we can say that a manufacturing giant offered lower prices initially. Okay, and then after capturing the market share, what they do, they will then match the competitors' prices by making the prices high. Okay, and then the next example is a cycle manufacturer who achieves cost advantages through focused production and efficient outsourcing, enhancing product competitiveness. So in essence, we can say effective cost management, it is not only vital for sustaining daily operation, but also it forms the foundation of long-term growth and competitiveness in the market. Okay, so how we can determine the overall cost leadership? So overall cost leadership, it is a strategy that helps the companies to stand out in a highly competitive environment. Okay, so it is a key to provide high quality products with a lower cost, okay, as compared to other competitors. Okay, so to achieve overall cost leadership, the company, it should follow these important steps. So the first one is build efficient facilities. Companies can create efficient facilities to produce goods or services. They can also reduce cost through experience. Okay, when they work hard, they can learn from their experience, from the previous experience, they can find out where they can reduce the cost over time. Okay, and the next one is control cost. Companies, they can keep a tight control on all cost and overhead to ensure efficiency for the running of an organization. Okay, and then the focus on profitable customers. Companies should avoid dealing with those customers who might not contribute much to profits. Okay, and then they can minimize the cost everywhere. Focus is on minimizing cost in every aspect of the business. So by maintaining this overall cost leadership, the company, it can it requires a clear understanding of how different parts of business contribute to cost efficiency. Okay, so this strategy, it really worked very well in industries like textiles, pharmaceuticals and telecom in India, where companies want to offer good quality while keeping cost low. Okay, so however, it is a crucial for a cost leader to also consider any elements that make their products or services unique. The next question, what are the components of competitor analysis? Now, how does this help in determining competitors' position as defensive or offensive? Okay. In Unit 8, Competitive Strategy, in this unit we can find the concept of competitor analysis and how it helps in determining the competitor's position as defensive or offensive. Okay. So, competitor analysis, it involves looking at various aspects of your competitors to understand what is their position in the market. Okay. So, this analysis is one of the major component of strategy formulation. Okay. So, therefore, it is really very important for organization to perform a competitor analysis. And this competitor analysis, it has mainly 4 components. That is, the first one, future goals, current strategy, assumptions and capabilities. Okay. So, components of a competitor analysis, we have said the future goal, assumption, capabilities, current strategy. Let's see what is future goals. This involves predicting or understanding what goals your competitors are aiming to achieve in the future. Okay. So, finding out what is your competitors' future goal is the first step. Okay. So, knowing their future goals help you to anticipate what their moves and what are they going to do in the future. Okay. So, it can help you to stay one step ahead in the market. Then the next step is current strategy. This is an analysis of the strategies your competitors are currently employing to compete in the market. Current strategy. What are the current strategies your competitors are, doing right now? What are strategies they possess now? All these kind of things are analyzed in current strategy. So, understanding their current strategy, it helps you to assess their strengths and weaknesses and then to adjust your own strategy accordingly. Then comes the assumptions. Assumptions refers to the underlying beliefs or expectation that guide your competitors' decision making. Okay. Then comes the capabilities. It involves evaluating the strengths and weaknesses of your competitors and then including their resources, skills and overall capabilities. Okay. So, by understanding the capabilities, it helps you to identify the areas where you might have a competitive advantage or areas where you need to catch up. So, these components, they helps in determining whether a competitor is in a defensive or offensive position. Okay. So, defensive position, it means this involves the non-threatening moves. Okay. So, imagine a runner who is adjusting his pace to maintain a comfortable position without threatening others. Okay. So, defensive moves can include improving the organization's position without necessarily outperforming competitors, especially if they are not at par. And when we talk about offensive moves, these are threatening moves. Okay. So, picture, for example, a runner who makes a strong and strategic push to surpass others. So, offensive moves, they may involve actions that threaten competitors, and the key is predicting and influencing how competitors will react. So, in simpler terms, we can say defensive moves are like securing your position without causing any trouble, while offensive moves, they are like making strategic moves that may challenge or threaten competitors. The next 7th question is, what are the 5 key pillars of corporate governance system, and explain the evolution of corporate governance globally. Okay, this we can find in Unit 6, corporate governance. In this unit we can find the topic, what are the 5 key pillars of corporate governance systems. Okay, so the 5 key pillars, they are accountability, fairness, transparency, integrity and social responsibility. Accountability, it emphasizes the importance of holding individuals who are accountable for the actions of the organization. Okay, they are accountable or they are responsible for whatever the actions they take within the organization. Okay, so it ensures that decisions are made responsibly and consequences are clear. Then the next pillar is fairness. It involves treating all the stakeholders like shareholders, employees, customers equally, so it aims to prevent any form of discrimination and promote an inclusive decision making process. Then comes transparency. It refers to the openness and accessibility of information, so the stakeholders, they can trust the organization when they are transparent. Okay, integrity, it involves maintaining ethical standards and honesty in all business dealings. Okay, so it helps the leaders adhere to moral and ethical principle, and it also fosters a culture of trust and reliability. And then the last pillar is social responsibility. Corporate governance, it goes beyond the financial consideration, like how it impact or as an organization on the society. Okay, so social responsibility, it involves contributing positively to the community and the environment and other societal aspects. Okay, the evolution of corporate governance globally. The early corporate structures. Historically, corporate governance was largely informal in the earlier days. Okay, so the corporate governance, it evolved very in the olden times, where it was largely informal, with businesses often managed by a few individuals. Okay, so the absence of formal structures, it led to many challenges in accountability and transparency. And then during the Industrial Revolution, the growth of various corporations, it highlighted the need for more structured governance. Okay, so shareholders, however, the rights were limited, and there was a lack of accountability also. Okay, so then comes the post World War II. In the World War II, it saw the development of governance codes and regulatory frameworks. Okay, so the countries like US and UK, it implemented measures to protect shareholder interest. And in the late 20th century, governments and organizations worldwide, they began to adopt governance reforms. Okay, in the 21st century, it emphasizes principles such as accountability, transparency, and sustainability. Okay, so global organizations, institutions, and forums contribute to the development of best practices. So this evolution reflects an ongoing effort to adapt the corporate governance to the changing business environment. Okay, the next question: discuss any two types of operational control which influence strategic control systems. In Unit 12, Control, we can find the topic of operational controls and the several types of operational controls. They are financial controls, budgeting, management by objectives, and time control. Okay, and let's see how these operation control influence the strategic control systems. Okay, so they have told us discuss any two types of operational control. Okay, but let's see all the operational controls, because we might not know if they ask for any particular operational control. Okay, so the first one is financial control. These are the methods or techniques that are used very commonly. Okay, so this is a financial control which every organization they use for according to the requirement of the organization. Okay, so most of the methods related to the strategic management are regarding the financial control system. Okay, and effective systems of financial control, it is universally accepted everywhere in many organizations throughout the world. And this system of financial control, it is also known as DuPont system of financial control. Okay, then the budgets are the most widely used control method. Budget means a plan of income and expenditure. Okay, so it usually deals with the allocation of resources to different organizational units. So budget gives you an idea about the future expenditure and the income. Okay, so it helps you to analyze the performance of the organization and to take the corrective actions. Okay, if any flaws are seen. Okay, so since budget is actually a forecasting technique, its revision would be required from time to time. Okay, so it is one of the key elements in implementing the strategy successfully. Then the time related control methods, it includes CPM and PERT. Okay, so CPM is critical path method and program evaluation and review technique, that is PERT. These are graphical network depicting the different segments of work that must be completed within a given span of time. Okay, so these provide information for both project planning and control and are helpful for the management in allocating limited resources. Then comes the management by objective. This method it uses both strategic planning and control. It emphasizes the whole functional areas, departments, and finally the individuals of an organization. So mainly there are three minimum requirements for the management by objectives. That is, the first one, objectives for individuals. The second one is individuals are evaluated and receive feedback on their performance, and then individuals are evaluated and rewarded on the basis of their performance. Okay, so apart from these control methods which we have seen now, there are other methods like management information system, decision support system, and these methods can also be included under the control methods. So here comes the end of our term and examination of MMPC-012 for June 2022. So please study all these questions very well, as IGNOU always make question paper repeating the old previous ones. Okay, so hope you find it helpful. Share with your friends and subscribe for more IGNOU MBA. Thanks for watching.